Okay, something's off. Give me just a second. Something's very off right there. I'm gonna wear a hat for this one. No hat. I'll keep it as is. All right, where's my UFO? All right, we are live. Nobody in the room yet, so we will wait for everybody to come. Just a second. All right. We are live. This one is out of nowhere. I do not go live on Tuesdays, but I wanted to celebrate with y'all. Let me go ahead and adjust this here. I think this would be better. No. I'll open the screen. Put this back. That's better. Day one to everybody in day one. Today we are celebrating. We're going to do an Ask Me Anything. We have hit 9,000 subs. I'm also making up because I missed Friday. So Ndewo, who's all in the room right now? I see 3 of you guys are here. So I want to see some names in the chat. Ndewo, welcome. We're gonna begin once we hit 15. We'll make it 15 today. Let me post this on Patreon so that Ndieze, the dignitaries, know. All right, give me just a second. That's a lot of notifications. I gotta get to that. All right, we are going to. No, it's not what we're gonna do. Go back. Ndewo to everybody. Ndewo. I see 4 people in here. Let's go ahead and hit like if you have not already. Somehow this is off. My daughter was playing with the stand earlier and it fell over, so it's going to be a little abnormal. But I think I like this more. Ndewo to everybody. Ndewo. Welcome those of you who are in. We are celebrating hitting 9,000 subs. I think I'm going to pause to go get some alcohol. Though I don't know if I can drink on YouTube. I don't know what their policy is. I've never seen anybody do it. So we'll do it anyway. Where are we? There we go. All right, let's invite the patrons in. Go back. Great. Ndewo to everybody. Whoever's in here, let me hear some names. Give a shout out. I want to know who I'm talking to. I want to see if the regulars are here or if you're new. Let me see here. Open. Let's invite the patrons in here. There it is. There we go. I want to listen to myself. Looks funny. Let's go. Lecton says, let's go. Congratulations. Life's a Game says, congratulations on 9,000 subscribers. Congrats to you too. If you are here, then you are a part of the story. So patreon.com/the medicine shell is, hold on. Let me do this. Ndewo to everybody. Ndewo. I hate how they do this now. Give me just a second. I'm going to post something on the chat. I see y'all coming in. I'm trying to reopen you guys' chat so I can read it here. There we go. We are officially over 9,000. We are officially over. And shout out to anybody who gets the joke on the thumbnail, by the way. First time catching a live. Keisha, Ndewo, Nwanne, Ndewo. Very happy to have you. Let's see here. There. All right. And we are pinning this to the top. Cool. All right. Awesome. And then let me see if I can invite the Patreon, the Ndieze, the Patreon people, our distinguished guests. There we go. All right. So We are live, celebrating 1,000 plus subscribers. Ask me anything. Umu Igwe. Umu Igwe. Currently live on YouTube. Just 8 passing 9,000 subs. All right. All right. Okay, I've officially, when I turn around, we're going to be at about 10 people in here. Turns around, 7, close. All right, so everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have officially hit 9,000 subs. I'm not starting till we get 15 people in here. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything. The announcements, they send you emails when you hit certain milestones. And so the announcement came out of the blue for me. So I don't have a particular topic planned, but I am opening it for you to ask me anything. Habitual B says, congrats. Wanne, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know you've been supporting for a long time. So thank you and congrats to you too, because we're in this together. Good evening. Was excited when I saw this. Well deserved. Oh, thank you so much, Chelsea. You too. Of course, you've been uh, riding with me for a very long time. I see your name pops up in different places. Anytime I'm doing something, I know you're always there supporting. So, dalo one there, dalo, dalo, dalo. So let's see how. All right, we're at 10. Good, 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 good. If you see me turn this way, it means I'm counting. So we are at 10. I don't want to touch the screen too much, but I wish the chat was open there. We are at 10. We're going to officially begin everything once we hit 15. And those of you who are veterans, you should know better. We got 8 people in here, and we only have 4 people that have hit like. So if you are in here and you I don't know, want to support the channel or do your duty, go ahead and hit like. Okay, if you have not hit like, go ahead and hit like. We got 4 people holding on to their like. I couldn't tell you why they're doing it, but they're doing it. So go ahead and hit like if you haven't hit like already. Let's see here. We are at 9,000. Once we get to 15 people, I'm going to go ahead and kick everything off. I just posted it on the Patreon. My hands are very ashy. I need to put some lotion on them. If you guys want to give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. There will know everybody. We are at 9 people. Once we get to 15, I'm going to go ahead and kickstart everything. I had to go get some lotion on my hands. They were crazy ashy. Ndewo, everybody. Ndewonu, ndewonu, ndewonu. This is going to be Ask Me Anything. So once we get started, once we hit 15 people, whatever questions you have about my content, maybe even the channel and me as a person, go ahead and ask them here. Wanted to go live. This is not my normal going live time. Typically, I go live on Fridays at 8:30 Central Time. But this is a special event. And I also missed last Friday. No excuse. I was just exhausted. I couldn't do it. Our teacher for Kedu is having, or one of the teachers had, I had to step in for a teacher. And by the time I was done teaching, I was just too tired to do anything. So we are at 10. That is awesome. But we're only at 7 likes. If you're in this room, you have not hit like, hit like, hit like, hit like. It's just the rule. It's just the culture we got going on here. It's just what we do. We got 12 people in. If we can get to 15, I'm going to go ahead and kickstart everything. If you have not hit like, go ahead and hit like. This is an Ask Me Anything. I'm sure some of you guys are new to the channel. So if you're new, welcome. I'll introduce myself and let you guys know what I do once we get to 15 people. 15 people. All right. Day one. Also, to help us get to that 15, copy this link, post this on Twitter, post this on Instagram, post this on TikTok, post this wherever you post things, Facebook, so on and so forth. Send this to somebody who you think might be interested. Send this to somebody who maybe some of you guys are connected through the channel and through the Patreon, things like that. So even text this to whoever you need to text it to, because I feel like some of you guys are at that level now, which is really cool. Ndewo, everybody. We are going to celebrate. I need to go get a drink, but I barely have any alcohol left. I just took this out of the room. All right, you guys are gonna have to hold one more time. Every time I leave, more people come, so maybe that's the key. I'll be right back. I'm back, oh. My little, my little. All right, when I sit down, I'm going to look, and we're at 15. We are at 10. All right, well, we'll just wait a little bit more. Had to get a drink for the festivities. I've already taken a sip, but I'll pretend I haven't. We will officially start when I hit 15. By the way, if you guys have drinks, it's late, where I'm assuming wherever you're at, it's late. If you guys want to join me. Let me know what you're drinking if that's the case. Hey, congrats, one day. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We're going to begin once we get to 15 people. Ndewono. Let me do here. Great. Ndewo. Let's delete that. I want to see that there. Ndewo. All right, we are at 10 and 9 likes. That one person who is not hitting like, go ahead and hit like, whoever you may be. That one person who have not has, I want to see them match. I got like an OCD thing these days with them. So yeah, they will know everybody. We are beginning. This is going to be an ask me anything. So whatever random question comes to mind, I'm going to go. So long as you guys have questions, I'm going to keep going within reasonable limit, of course. If the questions end, then I end. So if you don't have questions today, we're just going to drink and celebrate and head off. Ise, SC, and there, SC, I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. And there, we are officially at 9,000 plus, aka it's over 9,000. All right. I want to play music, but you know how the copyright thing is. I wish I could. There will no. There will. Oh, those of you who are interested in learning the Igbo language this fall. I wanted to say this year, but this time I'm saying this fall, and I'm saying this fall for a reason. Okay, so if you're interested in learning the Igbo language this fall, we are officially signing up for the next session with Kedu. We're officially signing up for the next session with Kedu, which is the ending of October. I think October 26th is when it starts. But we're officially signing people up. Seats are limited. Again, we're a pretty small team. We don't have the capacity for like 100 people, so seats are very limited. And then a lot of people are returning from previous classes, so seats are even more limited than normal. But if you sign up now, you're reserving your seat very early. So I set up an Igbo language school. I built an Igbo language school called Kedu. The website is kedu.me. Yeah, bro, I'm going to message you on Patreon. Yes. Okay, cool. www.kedu.me. All right. There. So I started an Igbo language school called Kedu at www.kedu.me. The difference between Kedu and I guess other Igbo language programs is I tailored the way the language is taught to how our ancestors approach learning and teaching and so forth. Um, and I mean, it's hard to explain, but once you're in the program, you'll kind of get it. But that is one thing. So on the outside or just from basic observation, each student, you have your class and then you have your coach. Your coach is somebody you can speak to at whatever time you want to speak to in the Igbo language, back and forth, no judgment, very patient, understanding. Even if you know one word, just call and use that one word, or she'll call. You guys will use that one word until you master it, and so forth. And then you also have a class with a very unique approach. I came to find that whenever people try to teach the Igbo language, or often when they try to teach it, they try to teach it like English. And you're not going to use the rules of teaching like European languages to teach African languages, or most African languages, especially like Igbo, Yoruba, those ones. Um, because they're very different, and they're different once you teach them as they are. It's actually very easy to pick up and learn. We have individuals, if any of you guys from Kedu are here, within 3 months we've had people that don't speak any Igbo, all of a sudden they're speaking Igbo too, which I've had to step in and help out with. The level of refinement in their speaking, so like let's say you can hear the language and you could speak it, but you have Americana accent like myself. So Igbo 2 would be the level for you to help you refine it and sound more natural when you speak and so forth. So all of that is available at www.kedu.me. I want to see some new faces in there, and I want to give a huge thank you to you guys from YouTube and Patreon, because every single quarter you guys are signing up and you guys are participating and you guys are learning and things like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's been really cool to see that you guys carried your support to that level, and then you guys have challenged yourself to do something that's unique and different and out of the norm. So Igbo is our ancestral language, and I say our. If you're here, I'm saying our. I know why I'm saying our. Igbo is our ancestral language. Reclaim it. Sign up for kedu.me, www.kedu.me. And again, seats are limited. If the prices are not going to work for you, you can message me. Otherwise, the payment plan option is going to be available pretty soon. I'll let you guys know when, or next month, but I'll let you guys know when that becomes available. Though I've come to find that non-payment plan students tend to do better than payment tend to do better in general than the, I don't know what it is. So if you really want to do well, just go all in. But yeah, are we? Oh my God, we're at 20. I've been running my mouth. I didn't even realize we passed 15. He said 17 in the chat. It's on. He said, hey, I met you first too. Hey, Jenny, never met you, but I'm glad you're here. So we're going to meet each other. Ndewonu. Today we are celebrating the passing of 9,000 subscribers for this very niche YouTube channel that the forces beyond myself compelled me to begin. So as always, we're going to begin by breaking Aji. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just for those who are new, at this point, I feel like most of the people that I usually here or have know this whole thing from top to bottom. But for those of you who are new, any situation that involves the gathering of people, be it the gathering of peoples or a meeting with you and your ancestors, begins with the breaking of Aji through the process of Iwaji, which our ancestors used to kick off every single meeting. So that being said, let us go ahead and begin. Okike Kerua, Alawala, Igwe n'ala, ọfọ n'ogwu, mmadụ na mmụọ, iche na ụmụ, ọjị abịala. Eji m ọjị n'aka, na-ekelekwe unu niile, na-ekelekwe mmụọ na-esoro anyị, ndị iche na-enye anyị ndụ, agbara na-enye anyị ndụ, agbara na-enye anyị uche. Ejikwe m ke na-ekelekwe unu niile. Ọjị m ji n'aka bụ ọjị ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ na ndị nkwọ, ndị mgbu na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ. Ọjị ike bụ ọjị na-enye uche. Ọjị ike bụ ọjị na-enye ndụ. Ọjị ike bụ ọjị na-enye udo. Mana anyị ga-enwe ya ebe niile anyị nọ na-ele ihe anyị na-emeta anyị. Nke m ji n'aka bụ nke ga-enye ihe anyị chọrọ ịfụ n'ụwa. Mana anyị na-aga ije okike kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa. Anyị ga-aga ya n'eke, gaa ya n'orie, gaa ya n'afọ, gaa ya na nkwọ. Ise. Let us go ahead and begin celebrating. We have officially hit 9,000 subscribers. He said, Udochi, hey, ha 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 ha. Don't worry, you'll get to 10K subscribers soon. He said, Udo di nwanne. Yes, I believe it. I'll receive it. Awesome. All right, guys, so this is going to be an Ask Me Anything. I got hit by surprise with the announcements or the email that I've passed 9,000. Thanks to you guys being, it's so interesting because the faces and the names I see like in the live and on Patreon, I've been seeing you guys since the very beginning, right? I probably have the most loyal group, audience, subscribers, patrons imaginable. I'll go toe to toe with anybody with that claim too, because like I said, I've been seeing you guys since the very beginning. So I want to give big thanks to you guys. I would pour libations, but my wife will flip about the carpet. So he said, "Well, everybody." All right. So what's going on with me right now? So right now I'm working on two things. I've been asked to be a part of the South of Sahara project. I'm going to be posting a little bit about that later. The South of Sahara project is a gathering of YouTubers who make African content, specifically content similar to my own. So like video essays, documentaries, things like that on different African topics. And we've all kind of gathered, and the goal is to make a video which shows well, I'm trying to remember exactly how to word this, but a video that shows some type of positive story from the African continent, which is super easy for me to do because it's what we're doing anyway. But shows some type of positive story from the African continent. So there's this whole group of us, some people who I've been watching for years, some people who, thanks to the project, I got introduced to, and now I'm hooked to their content. So I'm very honored to be a part of that project. The video for that is going to be coming out at the end of the month. The topic I'm working on right now is going to be how high life music was used to rebuild Igbo land after the Biafra genocide. Right? So high life music, Oliver Deko, Kosadebe, all those people, Oriental brothers, they played this very interesting, very big role in rebuilding or helping the rebuilding process of the region. So that's the story that I'm going to be covering. And of course, it's going to have elements of everything that I typically discuss because as our ancestors see it and as it is, the spiritual and the what we call day-to-day life are not two separate things. So it's going to be, as always, a combination of all those things, but more so on the history side and giving perspective. As I was researching it and working on it, I came to find it was kind of more so, it started becoming kind of a short story of my parents' generation, right? Just kind of how they came up and things like that. So if you're interested in understanding those people, hopefully this video helps bridge the gap a little bit, help you understand a little bit about the specifics on who they are and things like that, and so forth. So the video will also give a clue as to where a lot of the pushback against our ancestral beliefs and our ancestral practices began and came from, because most people would be surprised to learn that it really wasn't in the colonial period. It was in the modern era that that the nonsense began. So that is what I'm going to be working on. And then I'm also finishing up my video for Akaraka, the etchings of the poem. So we are, or not, well, yeah, because my dad's been a huge part of this project. But I'm going to be making a video on poem reading in the ancestral perspective, how to do poem reading in the Igbo way, the what goes into it, and then of course just my usual videos, the whole 360 on the concept of akaraka, because akaraka, while it alludes to the etchings of the poem, right, poem markings, it goes way beyond just that. There's a lot to it. So right now I'm doing those two videos, and then I'm covering classes for Kedu. So if I'm late to respond to an email, or I'm dragging my foot about one thing or another, be patient with me. They're trying to kill me this month. Hey, one Adrian, one Kedu. Yes, Kedu 9K. You're a big part of that. Thank you so much for that. Chief Naja Chinyere Njoku Eri 1 of I want to say Aguileri. Where'd you get the title from, Chief? Aguileri or Inri? I want to say Inri. I want to say Inri. I'll say of Unri. Put it all together. Chief, you've been a supporter since the beginning, and you've been um, somebody who I look up to as far as everything you're doing. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. She says yes. All right, I'll take it. Airy Kingdom, you say. All right. Anybody who has drinks with me, cha 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 Igbo Quinn. I'm gonna wait for the chat. Cha 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 Igbo Quinn. Hey, you guys don't even know how to do this. You need to sign up for Kedu. Hey, Udochi, Ada. Hey, yeah, Chelsea. Uh-huh. I didn't even want to tell anybody what to do. I just wanted to see who knew. Let me sip some strawberry lemonade. Go get that lemonade, my man. Go get that lemonade. Hey, oh, yes. Cha 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 Igbo Kwenu. Kwezienu. Mono. Rieno. Oh no, God, thank you so much for being supportive. I don't have a single funny. I'm from Oba in Nsukka, and my family's last name is Umueri. The plot thickens, the plot thickens, the plot thickens. A lot of interconnectivity with our communities. A lot of that going on. So that's very interesting. Son of Nook, that's very interesting. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, all right. I'm still waiting for the questions, guys. I don't if nobody has questions, that's fine. I'll finish this drink and go home and go to sleep. I need some sleep anyway. But yeah. My surname is Ogueri. Wow, dope, dope. Healthy plan. Where are your people from? Or where are you from? About to get my own drinks. How long we finna be chatting? Hey, don't you really chatting? I don't know. I don't know. If I can get some questions, we'll be chatting for some time. If I don't have any questions, I'm out. Why is Igbo spirituality so similar to Hinduism? Very good question. Okay, Life is a Game is asking, why is Igbo spirituality so similar to Hinduism? So the thing is, right, I think you can almost break religions into the Abrahamic religions and everything else. And it's getting to that point because a friend of mine, we were talking about ideas on sexuality and things like that, and I'll talk about that maybe later, as far as like spirituality and religions go and things like that. And you could honestly break everything to Abrahamic and everybody else. And typically, what you see in the everybody else spiritualities, observations, cosmologies, religions, whatever you want to call it, is they are based on witnessing. They are based on witnessing. They are based on experience. They are based on describing tangible reality, right? So Hinduism uses a particular language. Some can say allegory, so on and so forth, but it uses a particular language in describing what people are actually observing in the world, right? When people are actually observing the world. and it uses that language, and it is a science. You use it you use Hinduism to make medicine. You use Hinduism to establish different things, that any other science would in the world. Odinani is the same. Modernity is based on observation, right? And so if you are in India, you're observing the world, and I'm in Africa and I'm observing the world, we're going to say very similar things. But if I'm sitting somewhere and writing my beliefs on a piece of paper, you know, we're going to get a lot of a whole set of different things too. So Hinduism, a lot of elements of Judaism, and then, of course, what we refer to as indigenous religions like Shinto, Taoism, a lot of the Native American beliefs, and then ones in the African continent kind of follow this exact same tradition where they are sciences. They are our ancestors and the people who came before us, telling us about the world and how to operate in it, and what the laws of the tangible laws of the universe, right? They may put these in stories. They may put these lessons in proverbs, Ilu and Igbo traditions or tradition. But ultimately, if you're in India describing the sky and I'm in Awo Mama describing the sky, we're going to say very similar things, right? So you go to even the Nordic European spirituality, religion, whatever you want to call it. Even Nordic European spirituality, it's not by coincidence that over here you have Thor, and over here you have I'll say Ra, maybe. I don't know the Kemetic stuff too well. Over here you have Shango, and over here you have Amadioha, and in China they have their own, Japan they have their own, in North America they have their own, and then they all describe a very similar character with very similar characteristics, a very similar nature, and they appeal to this character in a very similar way, right? When you see those things all over, you see, and these people are not talking to each other regularly. They're not getting on Facebook and saying, "Hey, I'm about to make a new one. His name is Odin, right? I'm about to make a new one. His name is Amun." They're not doing that, right? But they're coming up with these similar conclusions. It makes you realize that everybody is looking or pulling from the same well, right? They're pulling from the same well. Also, once you understand where this wisdom comes from, which is internal, which is internal, it makes more sense that you see similarities all over the place. It is an internally derived thing. It's not from here, like, oh, I think, everybody needs to have a beard. That's not what's going on. So that's why Hinduism, a lot of older belief systems, a lot of pre-urban belief systems. Well, I think once people got in the cities, they got really into their own opinion. So a lot of pre-urban belief systems are very similar because they are sciences. The Abrahamic religions are different because they separate themselves from science, right? So Christianity is not trying to be scientific. It never told. A lot of atheists will make you believe in this and this and that, and that's not they're not even trying to be. That's not what they're trying to do, right? If you read the Bible, most of it is about how you should behave and things that happened in the past that justify the edict on how you should behave. So it's an entirely different thing, right? That's why a lot of times when people hit me with the questions, oh, is this allowed in Odinani? Is this okay in Odinani? All those questions don't make too much sense once you understand what Odinani is, right? It's closer to science, like saying, oh, is this allowed in science? It's like, let's try it and find out, that kind of thing. All right, so I missed a few comments. Hopefully there's some questions. All right, how do you recommend learning about Uli? Love this question, especially the henna designs on skin slash wound. Do you know any YouTubers who cover this? Who do you recommend? So my mother came over for Labor Day, and we were having a conversation about two things. Well, we were having a lot of conversations, but two of them came up as far as the content that she knows I'm interested in. One was Uli. The other one was this kind of celebration that they used to have when she was younger that was very similar to, I guess, what Americans would call homecoming or a prom. But what was interesting about it, she remembers that they would use, I can't remember the name in Igbo, but they would use, it was xylophone music that they would use the whole time. And you're supposed to go there and like find a girlfriend or find your husband or find your wife, that kind of thing. And that they stopped doing it around the time like she was young, for reasons that are beyond me. But the one of the things to talk about is Uli. So what she let me know was that there is somebody in my community who still does Uli or who's still gifted in doing Uli. So I'm trying to get connected to this individual, and then I'll have more answers on those who want to learn how to do it because I want it. For those who want to do it, I want to kind of create an avenue by which they can learn it, um, free of charge and everything. This is a tradition I don't want to go anywhere. I come to find that the tradition, I say this over and over and over, and I hope people are listening and take it seriously. But I come to find that the traditions that are most in danger are the traditions that belong to women or that are specific to women. The men's traditions aren't really going anywhere, and that kind of thing. But the women's traditions, they are in danger, and Uli all falls in that category. But there are also different levels of Uli. So there's regular beautification, being cute, tattooing, and then there's the Uli. This will be in my next video too. There's the Uli that's the extension of this, right? So we're gonna start here, and then all of a sudden, it's gonna be a whole bunch of lines that are gonna be on your body. And some people are gifted in being able to see these lines. And in from seeing these lines, a person can see your chi is the phrase that's used. From seeing these lines. So you have lines on you right now, right? You have lines on your body right now that you can't see. And I have lines on my body right now that I can't see. And no two people are the same, except a person who is gifted in doing uli, who is a diviner, and is and why who is a diviner. This person will actually be able to see these lines after going into a trance and then trace them, and then from there, everybody can see your chi and that kind of thing. And it's said that once that's revealed, you're at the peak of your beauty, like your beauty shines. It's like a flower opens up, that kind of thing. That if a man sees you at that point, he's in trouble, right? Or a woman, however you swing. So or both. But yeah, I'm trying to set up a situation where people can learn the art of Uli. And then once that is established, I'll make it public. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. Um, that is how I recommend learning. If you're like first generation or if you're still living at home, do what I'm doing and ask people in your community. Try to find a person that does it. People still do it, but you have to dig. You have to dig and find. And these are the last few. So if somebody doesn't go to them and make the knowledge known, then I don't know how much longer it's gonna last. Uh, my interest in Vedic culture led me to an interest in my own ancestral sciences. The last thing I was researching before I looked into Odinani on a serious level, like I said, okay, there's something over here. Let me really look over here. I was actually looking at a lot of Greek mythology. And in looking at a lot of Greek mythology, I was seeing a lot of parallels with my own culture and a lot of stories that were like one to one. I think the one where the dog brings, is it a dog? Yeah, the bringing of fire, the Prometheus story, that's in the Igbo tradition, things like that. So once I started seeing these direct parallels, I was like, okay, something's going on. Let me take a look. So it's interesting that yours was the Vedic. Chief says I need that on a shirt as well. I don't know what it would be, but yeah. Hold on, let me see if I missed any questions. I'm going to go up a little bit. My last name is Ononweri. Okay. Ononweri. From Imo State. I've heard there was a great king called Eri. Yeah, Eri is a clan, and the progenitor of that clan is said to be Eri, who is an individual who sat in the right hand of Chukwu in Obi Chukwu. And then this person, Eri, came down to the earth from the sky, and began the Umweri clan, which is, I'm not going to know them off the top of my head, Enuguku, Aguleri, Umweri, Nri, which used to have a different name that I'm not remembering right now. So it's like a cluster of villages in the Anambra area that that person founded. When Festac, I think it was 96, 97. It was Festival of African Culture. So like all the Nigerian cultures and maybe cultures from different places all get together. They came together, and after Festac, some people had decided to create a myth where Eri is the progenitor of all Igbo people. And the reason they did this was around that time, the idea of pan Igbo identity was becoming a big thing. And they had seen that Yoruba people had made, I can't remember, Oduduwa the progenitor of all their people, though originally that wasn't the case. He's the progenitor of a specific clan. But then they said, okay, he's going to be the progenitor of everybody. And so they try to do that thing. I don't think the idea sold as well with Igbo people until the internet. Until the internet got going, and because these people that were pushing the thing were more so into writing their idea, of course those of us who learned through writing got a hold of that information quicker, and so this idea spread more. But Eri is the progenitor of a very specific clan in Igbo land. Do you think it's possible to revise our culture with knowledge you have and design it to reflect our modern reality? Healthy plan. The answer is no. No. Um, I don't think modern people are equipped to think or operate the way our ancestors operated. And oftentimes we think that is because of some type of superiority or higher knowledge. But the truth is, our way of thinking is just different. Our thinking now is a lot more compartmentalized. And therefore, whenever we make things, it's hard for us to make things that are not wholly objective and put in some type of very specific category. So, for example, right, if you look at older religions, right? If you look at older religions, you go to Hinduism, Judaism, all these things, there's a richness that they have, and there's a depth, and I mean, it's like an ocean of ideas you can swim through. Now, compare those older ones to a lot of the newer ones that people are coming up with, right? Yeah, let's go drink the Kool-Aid with Jim Jones, Scientology. Just like, yeah, it's just there's our thinking is not the same anymore, right? And so there's nuances to existence that we can't readily get access to. And then think about it this way: my ancestors have killed an animal, right? I've killed one, but like I was helping my dad, but two, but I was helping my dad. But my ancestors have killed an animal. They have caught their own food. They've made their own medicine. They have touched more aspects of survival than the average person has today, even the average high ranked person in our society, because again, things are so compartmentalized. So the thinking, right? My thinking is going to have this certain type of limit, but it's going to be very specialized for a specific thing. And I might be really good at that thing, but I'm not going to have that panoramic view, right? Our societies are closed off. We're not hearing people's perspectives that's the way we used to, right? Forget about the internet. This is an anxiety response. People get anxious and they go type their whatever, and they go fight somebody on this. So this is not reality, right? We're not hearing people's perspectives the way we used to. We don't have connections to each other the way we used to. There's a whole lot of things that go into saying this is how things are, or sharing your perspective, that kind of thing that we kind of don't have access to. So when we create, there's a very specific way we create that doesn't match or isn't as rich as what came before us. And then, of course, over time, there's the things that stand the test of time survive, and things are, um, refined and so forth. Whereas if I just come up with some shit right now, it'd just be what it is. So no, I don't think that we should be plugging our own ideas into the thing. A lot of our own, and then again, because we're so far removed from our own survival and our own, uh, like our own relationship with our existence, right? Because again, things are very compartmentalized. I can just go to the, like, a lot of people don't know fish has a smell because they've never smelt a fish, right? You go to the grocery store, there's a bunch of fish laying there, it's dead, been dead for 6 weeks, has no smell. You pick it up, you might cook it, you might put it in the microwave, you eat it, that kind of thing, right? My perspective on water and fish and that kind of thing is going to be different from a person who goes to the water and feels its spirit on a daily basis and says, this is a woman, and she's a very calm woman and a very peaceful woman, and when I'm near her, my stress goes away, yada yada yada, that kind of thing, right? So again, here you click a button, some food comes out of a little chute, you eat it. It's, you don't got that much to share. A lot of people have never planted anything. A lot of people have never fought, right? Fought a war. What am I going to tell you about Ikwe? Go plug my own ideas about Ikwin soon. I've never actually fought, that kind of thing. Yeah, we got people in the military, but that whole different situation. So yeah, no, I don't think that we're not equipped to add our ideas to this. And if we do, it'll just turn into uh I'm not trying to insult anybody's religion. If we do, it will lose a lot. I think we have more to learn. I think we should go to the well, pick up something, and then go live our life and go do what we need to do and write our own chapter. But turning around and changing what was there before us, we're going to lose a lot. I came to find that I learned more, and I'm not just saying this because it's whatever. I learned more from the concepts that I disagreed with than the concepts that were immediately appealing to me or that I agreed with coming in, that kind of thing. The things I looked at and said, I don't know about that, I end up learning a lot more from than the things that I already agreed with, right? And so that came with me approaching this body of knowledge from a perspective where I'm not trying to reinforce my own biases or validate my own biases, which is very hard for a modern person to do, right? And it's fine. I'm not saying we're worse. We're not worse. There are things we can do that people before us couldn't do. And maybe we can contribute those things and continue going, right? If anybody, this is ancient science, and ancient science is great, but if you want to be in science, be a scientist, that kind of thing, right? Don't go and start stepping on the one somebody did back then because you think you got better ideas. So hopefully that kind of answered the question. It is a topic I think about a lot, and I get questions. I mean, people have said, "Oh, we should write a modernizing Odinani and this and this and that and yada yada yada," and then it's like, you can't do that. Here's an example. Compare the depth and wisdom of a masquerade from let's call it the age of our ancestors or the ancestral time, to the masquerades we're making today, right? So somebody puts on a clown outfit and dances outside of a business and tries to get your attention to go into the business, and then you have this one who revives your ancestors' spirit and allows your ancestors' spirit to walk through the community one time and you to feel their presence and them to feel your presence. And then they tell you proverbs that teach you how to live life, and expand your perspective. And then they go on a certain day, they come on a certain day. Their movements are aligned with star patterns and so on and so forth. We don't think like that anymore, right? We don't think like that because it's going to be like, yeah, but who's going to pay me, And then after that, the whole conversation changes. So no, let's just leave that alone. The science has not ended. This is a scientific legacy. Anybody wants to be a scientist, be a scientist, but don't try to remix the ancient. There's no point. Learn from it. Learn from it. Pick from it and use to go do something modern. So hope that rant answered the question, right? African Renaissance, cool. Would those lines be the same as our veins or blood vessels, since the chi? No, they're not the same as your veins and blood vessels. They are literal lines, like drawings, lines, symbols too, symbols, like different symbols and things like that. And all those things can be read in order for an individual or the diviner to see your chi, like the different things you have all fall in. The different things, all fall is a divine authority. The different things you have a divine authority over, the different things that are in your path, and so on and so forth. They can see it by looking at these lines that are on your body. They're not the same as blood vessels. though there's a relationship between them and blood vessels, which I'll explain in my coming video. Does Abara Arashi carve have to be carved the specific type of wood? Yeah. So when an individual makes, if you want to follow the way that the Igbo ancestors did it, if you're forming anything that has any significance, the type of wood you use is important. Which again goes into the thing, right? I was saying earlier about why we're not equipped to modernize these things. There's a masquerade there's a masquerade about that shows how a group of people's ancestors arrived to a certain place, and that masquerade is made of all the wood it's made out of is anti-malarial, including the leaves that it hangs from its mouth. I think from its mouth, or holds a bushel of these leaves. Yeah, it holds a bushel of leaves, and every single thing on it is anti-malarial, right? So again, we don't think like that anymore, which is fine. We don't need to, but yeah. Now we just go to CVS, you know. You go to pick up your prescription and call it a day, you know. How old are the Igbos? Scotty says, how old are the Igbos? It's a hard question to answer. There's no definitive age. Like nobody has ever said this is for sure the age. But the artifact records shows that Igbo land was one of the first mass populated places in the African continent and thus the world by human beings. Um, but it's very hard for me to say how old. So there are different generations of artifacts. But the one I can refer to are the Leja, oh God, I can't think, iron slags, like iron smelting sites, which, and I'm just throwing a number. I'm trying to fish out the number from my memory. But I think they are about seven-ish, 6,000 years old, if not more. And then the sites at Uguele are way older than that. The artifact site at Uguele is older than it's from the same time that Homo sapiens first started leaving Africa. And this is Uturu Uguele. Um, I want to say 90,000 years old for that particular site. 90,000, but I might not be saying the right number, but it's some ridiculous number like that. So the artifacts from that region, from that land, are very old. Um, do I have concrete evidence to say the people who made them are the same people there now? No, I don't. I have anecdotal evidence and things that kind of point in that direction, but it's hard to say how old Igbo people are. A lot of people communities will tell you that they came out of the ground. They didn't come from anywhere. They grew out of the ground. That's how they were created. A lot of the ones in Imo State specifically will say they came out of the ground. So yeah, it's hard to say how old Igbo people are. Very, very, very old though. I think the name. Some people think the name Igbo means ancient people, like something like that. But uh, oh, asking. Oh, oh, Chief. This is my brother's shirt. Yeah. Chief was asking where can she acquire the shirt, a shirt like the one I'm wearing. This is my brother's shirt. My brother is a very popular YouTube personality by the name of Screwface John, and these are one of the shirts he makes. Uh, just Google Screw Face merch. I wish I had time to let me see if I can find the shirt or a link to the shirt. Hold on. Google screw face Jean merch. Yeah. All right. So here we go. I got you. Okay. There you go. Found it. Apparel. Okay. I think. Where is it? I'm gonna find it before I go back to talking. Give me just a second. Uh, I'm looking at the picture right now, actually. Yeah. Okay, here. How about this one? There we go. All right, let me post it in the. Thinking about making shirts too. Thinking about making shirts. So there's if you like the shirt I'm wearing, you can click the link there. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that question. Is it true that each Igbo word is intended to convey a certain action or motion? Darius, yes, yes, yes. Funny enough, that's one of the things we were discussing in Igbo too at Kedu. So if you want to learn Igbo, one of the cheat codes is to focus on the verbs because every word is a verb conjugated. So if it's a noun, it's a verb conjugated. If it's a verb, it's just what it is, right? That kind of thing. So the verbs are going to unlock the whole language to you. And part of that is linked to the fact that our ancestors see the world as a world of forces rather than a world of things. So everything is understood based off of um, what it does or what has the potential to do. Than what is, if that makes sense. I don't even want to do any examples right now. But yeah, so yes, the Igbo language is a language of forces and actions. So if you focus on the verbs, and that's one of the things. So like when I was like putting Kedu together, I was speaking to one of our instructors who's going to be leaving, unfortunately, and another person who is very skilled as far as the language goes. And we were talking about it, and that was one of the things that we had discussed was the fact that just teaching vocabulary one to one, dog isn't get that, cats is that can wamba, all these things. It doesn't really work with the language, but that if you can just learn the verbs and learn the conjugations, it's mathematics, right? It's like math. So with math, all you need to learn is digits 0 to 9, and from that you can make an infinite array of numbers. Well, Igbo, you learn the verbs and then you learn the I'll put it this way. So if it's a noun, a lot of times it's in the middle it's a verb, at the beginning it's a pronoun or prefix, and then the end it's a tense. And those are like abara, right? Abara, the a is a prefix, and then the ba is the root verb, which is like ba is hard to translate, but it's like do. And then ara is like perpetual doing, right? So abara is something that perpetually does, a perpetual current or perpetual energy or a recurring energy, that kind of thing. And then you get an understanding of the word abara on a different level. But if you just go, abara is the gods, then okay, fine, you miss all that, you know. So yeah, we teach Igbo very different with Kedu, and it's based on a lot of what I've myself have been lucky to have encountered in my studies and so forth. So yeah, good question. Over to the Igbos. I was asking, we got the shirts. Is it true that the Igbo were okay? I answer that. You do that, demonized and disrespected them. Our ancestors were great, but they had so much respect for people, institutions that disrespected them. Maybe. Uh, but can't all that be reintroduced slowly through education? Um, can you change the thinking of a modern person to the thinking of a Neolithic person through education? No, because even the idea of education, you know what I mean? The idea of education is still in the modern space, right? It's still in the modern space, right? If if it, would you believe that a person is born a surgeon, right? You can say, yes, I believe it, my ancestors believe it, but would you let a 9-year old cut your stomach open? Probably not, you know, but our ancestors believe that a person is born a surgeon. You don't have to teach them, you have to kind of pull it out of them through them getting in tune with themselves. So yeah, you can apply these concepts to modern education, but I don't think you can entirely recreate an ancient person, an Onibo. I don't think you can artificially recreate that person. Fine. It's fine. Everybody is who they need to be in the time that they exist. And so it's not necessarily about the chi that guided our ancestors as much as it is the chi that guides us. What are we facing right now in our modern time, and what do we need to address and so forth, so that in 1,000 years, when people are talking about their ancestors, they say, oh yeah, them guys like the medicine shell stream, they really put us on to this and that, that kind of thing. So yeah, but I do think that these concepts, again, you can take from these concepts and apply them to what you're doing now, and vast improvements in what we're doing will happen. And they do happen every time these concepts are applied. They do happen every time they are applied, but we have to respect the thing we're pulling from. Does that make sense? So for example, if somebody makes, I know that's, the example is too American. If somebody makes, let's call it rice, right? Somebody makes rice, and everybody's eating this rice, and then somebody goes, I got a better idea, and they put some beans in the rice, right? And then they take out some of the rice, and then they put more beans, they take out some more rice, and all of a sudden it's a bowl of beans. It's not rice anymore, right? That kind of thing. So if you like the rice, go take the rice and, go eat it where you eat it. So hopefully that all over the place analogy kind of made sense. But I don't, the idea of modernizing or changing these things, we have more to learn from this tradition than this tradition has to learn from us. So let us go learn from it and then apply it into what we're doing. If we can do that, we'd be in an entirely different place, right? We'd be in an entirely different place. Leja stonework date back to 4,000 years ago. Okay, thank you for that. Ironwork, Central African Republic, about 3,900 to 4,300. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Chief says she loves that shirt. Great. I'll let him know. I'll let him know. When/how did we get our last names? Oh, good question. And were they chosen by meaning? So most people's last names are the names of their um, grandfather's father. For some people, their grandfather, and very rare occasion, the person before that person. So there came a time where the British administration said everybody has to have a last name. The policy didn't stick right away, but the British kind of had control for about three-ish generations, three-ish generations. And so the policy didn't necessarily stick right then, but when around the time the British started to leave, the idea started spreading. So it would have been like your grandfather's father, his name. I know my last name is my grandfather's father's name, and for most people it's the same. Though there's some exceptions where it's their grandfather, so forth. And then every single name in the Igbo tradition is chosen for a reason. It has a meaning. Um, it is Your name is a guide as far as how your life will pan out, and our ancestors were present at the time you came into existence and so forth. So yeah, everybody's the last names have meaning, and they were chosen about 3 to 4 generations ago. We were actually going to we had to stop because my grandfather's name is English, and there was a time we were debating to switch to his name, and that was vetoed. But if it wasn't vetoed, my last name would be Fidelis, which would be ridiculous. I mean, bless him, but I'm good on that. Even when I go to my altar, I use his chieftaincy name. Nothing wrong with that though. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How we get our last names? I was searching one of the groups my ancestors came from. People say they came from the sky. Scotty, yeah, yeah, a lot of stories about people coming from the sky. So that's dope. How important were leopards in Igbo culture? I've noticed that leopards are important in many cultures in West African culture. Leopards are extremely like apex level importance in Igbo culture. The leopard represents excellence. The represents excellence. It represents leadership. Then, of course, there are higher spiritual meanings to the leopard. I'll probably make a video on leopards. I made a video on sacred animals in general, but I think leopards deserve their own video. But yeah, the leopard represents a lot in Igbo tradition. Typically, excellence, leadership. that type of thing. The spirit that moves the leopard, that animates the leopard, agon, right? You hear that name, and when there's an agon, which is the leopard, and there's agonquo, which is the falcon, falcon or hawk, one of them, falcon, I think. And then there's Agli, which is the crocodile. And one of the things I notice about all of those animals is that they are very effective in all terrains. So a leopard is as dangerous in water as it is on land, as it is flying through the sky. Same thing with the crocodile, believe it or not. Same thing with the falcon. So that is one of the things that tells you about what the falcon is, right? That kind of, or the leopard is, that kind of thing. Uh, Yeah, you guys are really on that shirt. Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll let him know. I'll let him know. Let me see. I was just reading extensively about Uli. Yes, please do. Please do. It's such a beautiful tradition. Let me see here. Songs, yes. I'm trying to see if there are any more questions. I just saw the screen move. How do you recommend about Uli? Okay, all right, I'm caught up. All right, let me see if I got any more questions. How would you define the word wuchi? Wuchi. I don't. I don't think it translates to anything one to one. But wu is to be. Is to be. Um, like in Central Igbo they say bu, but in a lot of places, including mine, they say wu. And so wu is to be, and then chi is chi. Wu chi, wu chi. Yeah, I don't think it really means anything. Grammatically, I think it's off too. Be chi. There's like something you can say something wu chi. You understand, like Wawuchi or something like that. You can something has to come before the Wuchi. It can't just be Wuchi by itself. So if something comes before it, because it's like blank is chi. So what is chi? Then you say the thing that's chi, then you'd have something. But by itself, no, it wouldn't necessarily have a meaning. But I'm not a linguist, so there might be somebody who's stronger in the language that can say more. Ndewo, hey, Chimoge, nwanne. Ndewo. Hey, you're a big part of that, man. You've just got here. Cool. Chimoge, you've been a big part of that. You've been supporting for a very long time. So we're all celebrating. We all got here together. What is the closest related language to Igbo? Man, is that a hard question to answer? Uh, because there is a lot of, because of the politics of Nigeria, there's a lot of languages that are 100% Igbo, but they're not classified as Igbo. So these languages would be the closest relatives to Igbo. After these languages, it would be the languages in the Kwa family. So Ishan, Bini, Yoruba, Igala is very close to Igbo. There's one in the middle belt that I just recently became aware of. It's funny because my friend is from Ebira. One of my friends is from this place, and he said that the Hausa people, because it's further north, Hausa people call them Igbo, but he doesn't know why. And then he started like saying the different things in his language. I was like, oh, okay, I know why. Like Ajoku, no, not, it's not Ajoku, that's Yoruba. Um, where do they have that big? If anybody knows Nigeria, the big factory somewhere in the middle belt that was like a big waste of money. Something steel. I don't want to say I joke with that, but it's something close to that. And the I noticed that the word for stone in their in their language was the exact same as Igbo, okute, and then even the Yoruba okuta, okute, Igbo. So same thing. So all the Kwa languages in the lower Niger family, I think the only language that's really that different, not the only, there's a few, but like in that region, Ijaw is very different and Ogoni is very different, but the rest of them are very closely related to each other. So just any language in that map, in that part of the map. Yeah, Wu is dialect. Onyebuchi, yeah, Onyebuchi, exactly, yeah. Uh, Alaja steel mill. No, that's not the one. I think like Shagari built it. My mom worked there actually. That's why I'm trying to remember the name. It's somewhere near Lokoja. Um, that kind of Lokoja, Kogi State. I think it's in Kogi State. It's like a big money drain now. It makes no money, but it's famous. So anyways, he's from that area. What are the biggest ways in which modern Igbo parenting differs from pre-colonial and traditional parenting? Ah, tough-ish question to answer, but I think that one of the things that's very definitive is that I think a lot of the parenting in British colonies is based off of British colonialism, because the way it's done is, I mean, it's just obvious, right? That kind of thing. Um, but I have actually seen reports, right? And I have to double check this. I've seen reports that things like corporal punishment were introduced with colonialism, like so hitting your kids were introduced with colonialism, and that prior it wasn't a thing you did, right? But again, I have to double check that. I'm not sure. Um, so corporal punishment wouldn't have been one, and then I don't know. Every household is different, but I've noticed that like very Christian. Like one of the things, like when I met other Nigerians, like my upbringing was very, very different from theirs. And I came to realize a lot of what they associated with being Nigerian was actually just because they were Christian. It was like a Christian thing. And so a lot of those differences are clear. Um, I don't know. It's a hard question to answer because even right now households are different. But I know that a lot British colonialism had a lot of impact on parenting in British colonies because what would happen is the British came into the thing with the idea that they're trying to tame animals. I'm just gonna be frank. They're trying to tame animals, right? And so in taming animals, there are specific things you got to do. You got to hit them more. You got to do a lot more memorization. You're not gonna ask me any questions, that kind of thing, that type of thing, right? And so that's how a lot of colonial schools were set up. And then those people came out of the colonial schools and they were made the heads of society. And so they use that method on their children, and people saw them as better than them because they're the elites, right? So they're doing it right, I'm doing it wrong. And then over time, people start adjusting to what those people are doing, and then it becomes somewhat the norm, right? But you'll know this because if you if you grew up in diaspora, check the strictness of your parents, right? Who, because especially if they traveled around like the 80s and like before the 2000s, they're probably considered a big deal. Check their parenting and then go home in the village itself and watch how things are. Right? Them kids are doing whatever the hell they want, right? That kind of thing. So you begin to see, oh, okay, that's where that's coming from. So, yeah, that kind of the strictness is very much a part of the British colonial thing. And that's why you see it everywhere. That they were India, Jamaica. I can describe my not really my household, but like elements of my household growing up, and a Jamaican will be like, "Oh, me too," and an Indian will be like, "Oh, me too," and that kind of thing. But a Japanese person, maybe not. I don't know, that kind of thing. So, but they have their own thing. So, but again, hard to say because it's individual experience. I just know that a lot of the top downness of parenting at home is very much a byproduct of the colonial schools because that was seen as like the best way, right? The civilized way to raise to deal with a child, Yeah. But they weren't doing that shit in England, Them kids were popping off. So let's see here. If you got any more questions, all right, hop guys. Uh, how do you feel about the Queen Patsy? I don't know her. Ask me how I feel about the Queen Patsy. I ain't met her. Have you met her? I've never met her. I don't know if I could ask her. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I feel like they can demonetize your channel and stuff for saying certain things. So, I don't want to say too much about politics and stuff like that. And I think that falls in the realm of politics, but I don't know her. So, hey, what did Cameron say? People die every day, B. I'll put it that way, you know. People die every day, B. What you call it? I was really about to ask this, but I too do want to start something. I see. You guys know. Yeah, yeah. People die every day, B. You know. I just found out West African auntie. It both fed hundreds of people with a few fish. It was a bit. Okay, cool. I was about to ask. People are celebrating in Nigeria. In Nigeria, it seems to be a mixed conversation. A lot of people are very mournful, because that's just what it is, it's colonialism. And a lot of people are very like happy and jokey and that kind of thing. I think you guys, if you guys are on Twitter, I can't remember her name. I think it's Ujuanya or something like that. She's a professor. I can never remember anybody's name. So she's a professor at Cornell. No, not Cornell. It's the one with it's C and has two names. Carnegie Mellon. Carnegie Mellon. She said that she wishes the queen. She's an Igbo woman, and she. I see she posted this morning that shout out to everybody at home that's been supporting her. P.S. I'm a gay. So I thought that was funny. But those of you who are from home, you'll get the funniness of I'm a gay. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's been a mixed conversation at home, but the mixed conversation, the people that are mournful, I've noticed it's become an opportunity for them to learn otherwise because they don't know. They like a lot of people just don't know history, right? And so they'll say, "Oh, the queen." Like I'll notice somebody post something like "the queen has died," and then or "queen has died," and somebody will come in comments below them, "Oh, this person killed I think it's 2 million of your people." This and this and that, and then they'll be like, "Really?" And then the history lesson begins. So it's been a learning lesson for a lot of people. It's very interesting. Man, they'll demonetize the hell out of me for this one, man. But it's very interesting how the UK has managed to convince the world that it is a democracy. That is one of the most amazing mind tricks I have ever seen in my life. It is unreal. Oh, she's a figurehead. Okay. Okay, yeah, a figurehead, and every time we pass a bill, we gotta ask her permission if it's cool. Hey, is this okay? They used to have on the British passport, we ask for the Royal Majesty's permission to exit her something realms under her grace. It's just the craziest thing you ever seen in your life. Uh, she can't be persecuted by law. Like she's objectively more powerful than the guy in North Korea as an objective fact in her system. You understand? Everything that happens is by her grace, right? So you guys can have your little voting thing going on because I'm allowing you to. I'm giving you the grace to do your little voting and that kind of thing. So it's amazing that the UK has convinced the entire world that it is a democracy, right? And it's funny too because back when it was a monarchy, it had a House of Commons, right? It still had a House of Commons and a House of Lords that you don't vote for, right? That you don't vote like what? It's three houses of government: the Queen, the House of Commons, the House of Lords, and the only one that gets voted for is the House of Commons. And if you double check, they have zero. They have no power. Right? Oh, the prime minister is like their president. No, he's a minister. He's a prime minister, sure, but he's not a president. Yeah, they're gonna put Churchill next to FDR, and you go, okay, he's there. No, bro, that guy's a secretary, bro. that young man's at work. He ain't got no power. That kind of thing. And so then they'll show like this is part of the propaganda. They'll have the House of Commons in on PBS, and you'll be like, "Oh, British government." You think that's the government, right? British government is so different from America. They just say whatever. They just say what. Do you know what the House of Commons is? The House of Commons is okay. I'm the Queen. I own England, right? It's not a matter of can you believe the Queen gets a salary of no fool? You're in her house. You get a salary. You're in her house. You're in my house, thinking I'm getting paid a salary. Are you crazy? Right? It's like me going to right now, going to my kitchen, getting a hot pocket. Someone being like, "Oh, they in Derek's house, they give him hot pockets." Like, no, I pay the rent here. I'm like, this is mine, right? So, in back in the non-democratic days, the queen owned everything, or the royal family owned, of course, it's their property, right? It's their physical property. It's their physical property, the way Amazon belongs to Jeff Bezos. And they have managers, which are the lords, where, I'm divvying up the property. You manage this part, you manage this part, you manage this part, you manage this part, that kind of thing, right? And then, of course, you got this thing. You need employees, you need people to come and work the fields and shear the sheep and all that stuff. So people are moving in. We're creating this really cool place called England for everybody, and they can come in and do whatever. Still mine, I got this, but you need to be a part of it, right? And every now and then those people at the bottom, they complain, they demand things, they whatever. So let me open up a little house for the unwashed masses, for them to come in and do whatever. So that thing you see on PBS where they're like, well, the right honorable, my British accent's not very good, but this is what I hear when I hear, the right honorable gentleman needs to change his toupee, and they're saying crazy stuff to each other, and they're all laughing, and it's kind of like, it's like, oh, that's not, that's the unwashed masses being the unwashed masses, right? It's the most democratic looking piece of the government, so you see it a lot, right? So they have the House of Commons as a television show in America. They don't have the House of Lords, right? They don't have that. That shit looks like a day. That shit looks like kabuki theater. Like, if you saw, you're like, okay, I don't know if these people are really telling me the thing going on there is the thing going on there. So but they've just everybody's like the smartest people in the world. Like, yeah, it's a democracy. It's a democracy. It's the birthplace of democracy. That kind of thing. I think the last I heard, this is just the internet, so I could be wrong. Surgeons weren't going to go to work or something like that. Well, because of the coronation or something like that kind of thing. Yeah, no, it's not a figurehead. People think it's a figurehead. A figure of what? Yeah, I don't know. That's just one of my. I have like about five. I'm gonna be the worst old man in the world. I got about 5 rants, and that's one of them. And I know that by the time I'm seeing it, I'm just gonna be repeating them over and over. But I don't know how there is an amazingly persuasive culture. Not just like Britain. I just mean like Anglo culture. Just persuasive as hell. They can just convince you of anything, right? America, same tradition. America's better at it. But my God, they can convince. The whole British Empire is just convincing. People think they went there shooting people. No, they just convince people to sign horrible deals, right? Thing, right? P. Diddy, right? They had every time I think I start laughing, I just know I buried something back in the abyss of my imagination. But yeah, it's just a persuasive culture. Like America, for example, like I'll use like a modern example, right? Like America, okay, oh, can you believe they're gonna have social credit scores in China? Social credit scores in China. They're gonna be grading your behavior. It's like we have credit scores, and we're hearing this, and they're so persuasive that we don't even think, wait, you're doing it to me right now, right? Oh, I don't know. You're kind of weird this last time, so I don't know if you should get this house. You've been acting kind of funny. You got pulled over a couple of times. I don't know if you should get this house, right? And the social credit, or what's this nonsense? China's taking over Africa. The Chinese, they're taking over Africa. Right? What about France? The Chinese. Very persuasive, right? People think that by the time England and America make you do their will, you're going to be convinced you're the good guy, right? You're going to be convinced you're the good guy, and you're doing it for you, and you're going to do it, and you're going to be proud, and you're going to tell your kids about it, so on and so forth. So that's why a lot of times we have a hard time understanding kind of this reverence people have of the Queen, that kind of thing, in former colonies. Like, the capacity to persuade is unreal. I read a book. I'm not going to say who wrote the book because they'll definitely shut this channel down. Um, but this person was like, the reason we lost the last war was because these British people are really good at convincing people stuff, and we're not good at it. And we got to get better at convincing people stuff so we can kill as many people as they have. So that's what he wrote, And yeah, that kind of thing, It's crazy. There's a whole British Empire, and like we can't point to anybody that committed any atrocities or anything. Oh, Genghis Khan, Napoleon, Pol Pot, and it's like control 1/5 of the world. Nobody's kind of guilty. Go away, right? That kind of thing. Just amazingly persuasive culture. Nobody questions any of these things. It's a democracy. What? Because because that's the flavor. Like, okay, oh yeah. You can vote. You ain't gonna vote, You ain't gonna vote me out, right? Hey, talk about, you ain't gonna vote the lords. You can leave them alone, right? You can vote for your little hobbled masses. We'll put them on PBS and that kind of thing. We'll have somebody with a real Christiana mom port. When Mugabe, I remember when I first saw Mugabe ask this question, and I thought he was tripping. And then I got older, I was like, oh wait, yeah, he's right. Because somebody who won't be named asked Mugabe, do you ever think about stepping down? Did you ever think about stepping down? And Mugabe goes, and I'm not Mugabe's pretty cool, but he goes, he's like, do you just ask Africans this question, or are you gonna ask the Queen of England, right? And it's like, what? Why are you asking me? Why are you gonna ask her? You ain't stepping down. You're not even thinking she should, right? You're not even thinking she should, But why should she, anyways, right? America has persuaded us that the way people choose to govern themselves is a matter of morality, right? There's a moral. The more American your government is, the more moral you are, that kind of thing. So maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I've been persuaded by that side too. But there's countries that are not as persuasive, right? And I pity them. It's talking about fucking the prime minister. All right, so stricter than the average. I've noticed my parents were stricter than the average Nigerian. Yeah, that's common. All right, we're gonna switch the subject before them folks shut us down. So, history of Persian, West African. I don't know any interactions between Persia and West Africa. I would imagine there was a relative lot of interaction during the Caliphate era, and possibly beforehand. The Mediterranean is kind of a big crossroads, so everybody's been dealing with each other for a long time. But I don't have anything very specific outside of an assumption about the Caliphate era, so I wouldn't be the person to ask about that. Shimoga, thank you. I agree with Derek about the mind trick. The monarchy has a yearly meeting with the prime minister. Yeah, hey, you're behaving in there. I'm behaving, queen. Okay, go back to work. Hey, yes, ma'am. Have you seen that when they do the opening of the parliament or whatever? Oh man, it's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, young man at work. Constitutional monarchies. Constitutional monarchy is a very funny term. Does England have a constitution? I don't think it does, right? I don't want to look, this is out of my depth, right? At this point, I'm just speaking about what I'm observing. To my knowledge, the United Kingdom does not have a written constitution, but it has convinced everybody that it is a constitutional monarchy. Isn't that the most, whoa? How do you do that? You don't even have the thing, right? Imagine telling somebody that let's go watch the basketball game, and there's no basketball being played or basketballs, but you were at the basketball game. It ain't even on TV. There's no English constitution, and it's a constitutional monarchy. And if there were a constitution, the monarch legally is above it. You can't persecute the monarch. Do not have a constitution. Oh, just Googled it. Well, yeah, I don't. And it's because there's people who know more, or maybe right? Maybe maybe one of you guys are like the feds. So if you're like the feds, let me know. Hey, stop saying this stuff, right? Because because I'm not like it's not that deep, right? But any of you guys who are the feds, let me know if I'm going too far. The little that kind of thing. So or maybe more knowledgeable on a more nefarious level about these things. Let me know, hey, you're going too far. These are unspoken things. Maybe it's unspoken, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm a history fan. I look at these things, it's right there in my face. I turn around, the world's saying something else. I scratch my head. So I want to know where the discrepancy is. There's a big chance that I'm wrong, right? I'm not a constitutional scholar. I just know that this country has convinced the entire world that it is a constitutional monarchy and has no constitution, which is wild. And then it tells people how to be democracies. like like as an active part of its existence. It tells people how to do that thing. So I don't know, the Magna Carta. You know? Threw that shit in the trash, boy. It's all power of media. Yeah, man, media is a powerful thing. Media is a powerful thing. Is I beg before you want to try anything, let us have this laugh, no vex. YouTube, I beg. I'm glad you guys find this funny, man. Because I sometimes I start saying these, I'm like, wait, am I getting into that space where I don't, I'm not trying to be like Alex Jones or anything like that. I want to know. This is not an area of high interest for me, but I can see the facts this is right there, and I'm asking questions. So YouTube, NSA, whoever the hell is getting itchy right now, just send me an email. I'll chill out. Shit. I think we do have a Patreon only chat about these. Yeah, maybe. Mugabe wasn't real. I like anybody. I like anybody who starts trouble. It's endearing. Not saying that Mugabe starts trouble, but Mugabe starts trouble. So I like that. You should read Hans Hermann Hope's Democracy: The God That Failed. What an interesting title. Ha 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 ha. If you want to tell me a little bit more about that book, that'd be dope. Uh, that kind of thing. I just put the royal family in the same category as the Kardashians. Like dot dot dot. What do y'all do? I think we're supposed to put them in the same place as the Kardashians, but they're really like Darth Vader. No, like who's the guy behind Darth Vader with the little fucking hoodie? They're that guy, Palpatine. That like they're like that's not like they're like celebrity. Why are we paying for these celebrities? Like, nah, that's not what's going on, man. And it's not even hidden. It's not even hidden. If you had to describe the English government, there's a House of Commons, which is all you riffraffs running your mouth. And then after forming a complaint, you go to the House of Lords. And if the Lords think what you're saying is okay, they might take it to the Queen, and the Queen goes, sure. Or, nah. But typically, sure, because grace, you're great. Just do what you want. Do what you want. One of the things that England, where's this book? If you want to scratch your head, check this book out. It is Revolutionary Empire by August Calder. And it is big and kind of intimidating, but I promise you it's as entertaining as it is big. It is as entertaining as it is big. And there's just so many things in like, oh, that's what that is. And it's thoroughly researched. Like this isn't just a guy on YouTube talking too much. It's thoroughly researched, very, very good stuff. But it kind of breaks down not the under, but it's like the history of England, right? Which is a good focal point if you want to know like the history of the world, right? So history of England, and starting from a certain point, of course, and then it ties it to a lot of the things that you probably recognize today, that kind of thing. So check that one out. It goes into a lot of what I'm saying, but yeah, just constitutional monarchy, no constitution. got this House of Lords. You don't vote them in or out. You got the Queen is the executive branch of government, right? But it's also the landowner, like the owner, the landlord of the country. It's like an apartment, right? It's feudalism. Okay, let's do this. What's the difference between? They say that it was a monarchy and then it became a not monarch or whatever. Okay, so what's the difference between now and then, right? What did they change? What did they change? They told the monarch to shell out. That's all it is. Monarch's their pope too. Is the head of the Church of England. You know, that's not a Kardashian. You know. Yeah. Let me leave that alone, man. Exactly, Udochi. As I die laughing. Revolutionary Empire by August Clotter. Yes, awesome. Thank you, Chumoge. Second stand. Wait, this stream had me cracking up in my room. Lord Palpatine. Okay, yeah. That's the illusion. I don't think our people can have a legitimate election. Man, they'll hit that some. Man, if Alex Jones was black, or we'll change his name because I don't want to get pulled off. If give me a fictitious name for that very large red gentleman. Pay off all the administrative levels handsomely. Whoever rocks your boat. Yeah. But yeah, if he was black, whoo, hey, man, that son bitch so deep in the Atlantic. Oh man, this is an old man Derek sipping palm wine right. Yeah, I got 5 rants. That's this is one of them, and I know once I'm this is all my great grandkids, will hear that kind of thing. So I guess they just made up. Yeah. All right, guys. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Man, Adrian, what are you talking about over there, man? Man. Alexis Johnson, thank you. My dad already calls me considered. Isn't that crazy though? We're all laughing, and it's like there's every American has this understanding that there's a potential punitive element to what we say, but we just keep running our mouth about Mugabe and what's this North Korea guy? All them, in China, they can't even say nothing. They can't say nothing in China. They can't say nothing. Go to work and say something. See what happens. You think you can say something? Fuck out of here. Oh man. Yeah. Let me stop. All right, guys. We've had a good time. 9,000 subs. 2 videos on the way. And of course, if you're interested in learning the Igbo language, go to www.kedu.me. I'll type the thing here. www.kedu.me. Where are we at? So trust me, this is not your regular Igbo language, ABCD, dog is in that situation. We really took our time and studied language itself and the Igbo language as an isolate, something unique onto itself. And we developed an approach that is very effective. I'm very proud to say that it's been effective. And on top of that, it's good to learn with a group of people that are passionate about the thing. We're all there to discuss and appreciate, and a place where, no judgments, safe space, no, anytime you try to learn Igbo, it is not OD, it's OD. Right? None of that, right? So we none of our traditional communication challenges as a people that you're going to encounter, right? It's a safe space to make mistakes, say things incorrectly, mispronounce, so on and so forth. Struggle through it until you arrive to the point you want to arrive at. So if you're interested, we just started enrolling new students for the fall. So make the commitment. If you're going to learn the Igbo language by this December, go to www.kedu.me and reserve your seats. We try to keep the class sizes at 12 But right now, there's a lot of people in Igbo 1, or Igbo 2 is smaller, but there's a lot of people in Igbo 1, then there's a couple of people in Igbo 2, and a lot of them aren't going anywhere. So their seats are already taken up. So that being said, seats are limited right now. But if you want to support the channel, if you want to have more conversations that are safer from them folk, go ahead and join at patreon.com/the medicine shell. Patrons have access to my full in-house library. So the things that I discuss, I accumulate them and put them together in a library where anybody can access, so long as you're a patron. It has articles, it has like first-hand studies, like for example, when the British went to, Africa, the specific things they wrote, the conversations they had with people, things like that. That's all in there. Has books on Odinani, Igbo spirituality, cosmology, and culture. I have a recommended folder for those of you who don't know where to start, because there's so much in there. And it kind of just goes from like least complex to most complex. So check out the recommended folder if you want to know where to start. But lots of great books in there. A whole lot more coming too. Somebody just gave me access to a very vast library, so I'm going to be adding a lot of that to our own. So all of that is available to patrons at patreon.com/the medicine shell. And once again, thank you guys for the 9,000 subscribers. You guys have been super loyal, super patient, super supportive, not just of me, but of each other. I know a lot of you guys have kind of become friends and linked up and worked on projects together and things like that. So it's interesting when like two people that I'm talking to on the Patreon that I don't think know each other all of a sudden are hosting an event together or doing, and I've been seeing things like that. So I really like it, and I thank you guys for giving me the space to do what my chi says I should do, and supporting it. So you guys are doing a lot for me as a person. So that being said, uno gade, uno geto, hey Chelsea, why on my thank you for the donation. Dalo, why on my dalo. Anyways, thank you for that. I was gonna say, let me leave that alone. But anyways, uno gade, uno geto, nkobla no tiriaka, o gade no wa, o gade no neke, did no nurie, did no nafo, did no nankwo. He said, all right, guys, take care.